So I guess we're here for round 2. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Chris and today's video is part 2 of my April book haul where we're going through all of the physical books that I purchased in the month of April. Now I promised you a tally from my ebook, audiobook and physical book purchases over the month, regardless of whether they actually cost me any money, and the amount of books that I either downloaded off ebook or on Audible Plus catalog or bought from Audible or bought physically comes to a total of 40. So whilst we were going down from 29 and we made it to 26 last month, we've now jumped up to 40. Mark my words, 10 books, or let's say 10 purchased books in the month of May is my goal. If some of those happen to be free, then maybe the number will go up. Who knows, I'm bad at keeping track of these things. But yes, today we have 21 physical purchases to get through. That does not include the pre-orders that I have bought, because that doesn't count till the month that they arrive. So moving on from there, I do have a couple of books that I bought 3 within a series to try that series, or I bought the completed trilogy in like an omnibus edition. So you know, I guess the numbers add up pretty quickly when you do that. So we're going to start with the series just to get them out of the way, and then we'll go through the individual books. I'm not going to read the backs of all of these. I will show you the books, the titles, and why I'm interested in them, and then we'll move on to keep this video nice and short, because the one I did yesterday, where I read all the blurbs, was like 20 minutes long. So, jumping into the books. The first set of books I got was the Wars of Light and Shadows books 1, 2 and 3 by Janny Wurts. I will show you these all individually in just a moment, but we have the Curse of the Mist Wraith, which looks like this. We've got these old, nice, sort of classic fantasy covers for the first 2, and then the third one has a more modern cover. Then I have the Ships of Meria, which is book number 2. That. They're a little bit beat up, but very readable. And then one of the newer covers is book number 3, The War Host of Vastmark. So I've been interested in Janny Wurts for a little while now. This is a 10 book series, which is often compared to Malazan. For some reason, I'm very intimidated by Malazan. I haven't read it yet, but I'm less intimidated by this series. I have seen Janny Wurts also write with Raymond D. Feist with the what's it called, the Riftworld Saga, or yeah, it's the ones after the original trilogy. There's like a whole series written with Janny Wurts and Raymond D. Feist. Haven't read that one either. Look out for the video where I talk about all the series, like the classic fantasy series that I haven't read. But I am interested in this series. It may be one that I start next year. Once the move has sort of happened, it may be my first foray into a very big fantasy series that isn't completed in a trilogy. The next set of 3 books I picked up were books 1, 2 and 3 in the Saga of Recluse. This is written by L.E. Modesett Jr., who's still writing today. So we've got book number 1, which is The Magic of Recluse, I believe. Book number 2, which is The Towers of Sunset, and then book number 3, which I think is The Magic Engineer. Yeah. And you've got these, again, old classic fantasy covers. Now, I was talking to Mark Timoney, who's the author of Blood of the Spear, and he was saying that they're all sort of standalone novels, but they're within the one world, and I've decided to read them in publication order. There are quite a few of these books, so like with the Wars of Light and Shadow, I've just picked up the first 3 to see if I can get into it. Now, these 2 sets of books were my first, so I got these off eBay. I don't generally buy off eBay, but they're in pretty good nick. And I bought those off World of Books, which I haven't purchased from before, and was quite pleasantly surprised at the quality of the second-hand books. The next set of books that I got, it was an omnibus, and this is the Dragonriders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey. This is another classic fantasy series that I've wanted to read for a little while now, since jumping onto like Bookstagram and seeing this as being a classic fantasy written by a female author, and this one includes Dragonflight, Dragon Quest, and The White Dragon. So we've got all 3 books in this omnibus. This is going to be one that I probably read next year, while I'm living out of a suitcase, just because it's nice just to have all 3 books in one. It's an omnibus, it's compact and easy to carry around. It's also nice and floppy. That was fun. Now I know why Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads does it all the time. So those are the sets of books that I have from one author. The rest, I believe, I've only got one from each author, except maybe Bryce O'Connor. I'm not sure. But jumping into the rest of the books, starting with Age of Assassin by R.J. Barker. One of my favourite series conclusion last year was from the Tide Child trilogy, which was also written by R.J. Barker. I hear he really sticks the landing, even if the first book is a little bit slow. So I'm looking forward to jumping into this, which was his first trilogy. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get to that, but it has caught my eye a few times. So I finally bit the bullet and picked that one up. The next one I picked up was The Dragon's Path by Daniel Abraham. This is the Dagger and Coin book 1, I believe. I'll just check that. Yeah. The Dagger and Coin book number 1. I have the first book of The Expanse up on the shelves. You won't be able to see it in the camera, but I've heard that Daniel Abraham's fantasy is very good, and I'm interested in the Age of Ash, but I thought before I jump into the newer stuff, I would jump into some of the older stuff. I know people rave about the Long Price Quartet, and I do want to read that at some point, but this was the first book that caught my eye from Daniel Abraham, so I picked that one up. I haven't gone crazy with these series. I've only bought the first books just to see if I like them, except for the ones that I got a little bit cheaper, where I could buy the first 3. The next one I picked up was Chasing the Darkness. This is by Cassie Sanchez. I believe this was originally a self-pub, and now it's like a small publishing house. Morgan James Fiction. It says read time 340 minutes. I've not seen that before, where they give you the read time on a physical book. Oh, it says you can download the ebook. I guess that's why. So I don't know too much about this. I've seen Cassie Sanchez on Instagram a little bit, so I picked this one up. It says, pain is inescapable, but suffering is a choice. Azrael, the angel of death, knows pain, the death of his mother and sister, as well as his harsh experiences in the Watchguard at age 12, having brutally shaped him into the most feared assassin of Pendarren. Azrael's role as a hunter requires him to search for those with magic, called spectrals, which he's happy to do. Hunting allows him to pursue his true goal, exacting revenge on the fire spectral who altered the course of his life. Sounds pretty cool, got a very cool cover. I honestly bought this one to support an indie author that I saw on Instagram, and the premise was intriguing, so I picked that one up. Not sure when I'm going to get to it, but hopefully soon. One author that has come up in the self-pub world, which I'm very, very interested in reading, is Ben Galley. I downloaded the Forever King on ebook last month, but I'm interested in this Chasing Graves series. This is the Chasing Graves trilogy book number 1, and it is called Chasing Graves. Is there a picture? Damn. So the artwork inside, it's like got, I don't know if you can see it. I think it's just that every time there's a picture, but that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that that was there. So it says, meet Caltro Basalt. He's a master locksmith, a selfish bastard, and as of his first night in Araxes, stone cold dead. That's not great for you. They call it the City of Countless Souls, the colossal jewel of the Artican Empire, and all it takes to be its ruler is to own more ghosts than any other. For in Araxes, the dead do not rest in peace in the afterlife, but live on as slaves for the rich. While Caltro struggles to survive, those around him strive for the Emperor's throne in Araxes' cutthroat game of power. The dead gods whisper from corpses. A soul stealer seeks to make a name for himself with the help of an ancient cult. A princess plots to purge the Emperor from his armoured sanctuary, and a murderer drags a body across the desert, intent of reaching Araxes, no matter the cost. Only one thing is certain in Araxes: death is just the beginning. That sounds so rad. I'm really looking forward to this series. If I like book 1, I will probably purchase book 2 and book 3. Look out for a video coming in June where I do change my reading plans up a little bit to include some more self-pub series. The next one I picked up, this was from, I saw book 3 be spoken about on Patrick Leo's channel, and I thought, well, it sounds pretty interesting. I might just start with the first one, and that is The Kingdom of Liars by Nick Matrell. So this has a third book coming out very soon. I really love these white covers with pops of colour, so that definitely sold me, and I think I picked this one up secondhand for like $4, and it basically looks new, so yeah. So impressed with that. Secrets, rebellion, and murder are shattering the hollows, and only the son of the kingdom's despised traitor holds the truth. Michael and his family were exiled after his father David Kingman murdered the king's 9-year-old son. Now he survives by conning, cheating, and dueling minor royals to strike back at the world that abandoned him, sure all the while that his father is innocent and aware that a powerful secret lurks deep within the emptiness of his mind. There's a giant sticker on the back, so I can't read the rest of it, but it sounds cool so far. So I don't know when I'll get to that one, but that has very nice font and spacing, easy to read. Enjoy that for my eyeballs. Next up, we have another self-pub. This is one of my self-pub picks for the month of April in terms of purchasing and shouting out the author. This is Beckoning of the Gate by Benjamin J. Ryan. This cover, this light is not going to do it justice, but it pops, and it is a nice little foxy thing. And there's like a fairy, not a nice one, at the back. But anyway, I digress. The only life Santa Lathagan has ever known has become her prison. Vicious gossip is everywhere. Whispers of a scandal have turned to accusations of murder, and fingers are pointing her way. Feeling powerless and alone, she yearns for escape. When Santa stumbles upon a small, rusted key in the forest near her home, it seems her silent pleas have been answered. Awakened by her touch, the key demands to be heard, and she is not the only one to heed its call. Thrust into a world only glimpsed in the stories of her childhood of fairies and princes in the eldritch magic. Santa sets out to unlock its secrets, but uncovering the truth has its own perils, and as the key's influence grows, she will be left with a choice, survival or sacrifice. But will it truly be hers to make? All the while in the north, something ancient stirs, a great power that could unravel the very threads of existence. On the back we've got some creepy looking Dementor thing. This cover is cool. I'm looking forward to getting to that one. It sounds rather interesting. It sounds fast-paced. It sounds devastating. So, whenever we get to that one. Alright, next one I have is Shadows of Ivory. This is by T.L. Greycloak and Bryce O'Connor. This is the Godforged Chronicles book number 1. There's An Undying King, a relic of rune-carved bronze and ivory flames. A war for powers only a god could fathom. This is very heavy for what looks to be a small book. I say small. 483 pages? That's decent. But yeah, I love the cover of this one. Definitely was a cover by, but I also picked up something else by Bryce O'Connor, and then this one was advertised, so I picked this one up, and book 2 looks just as epic. Speaking of Bryce O'Connor, I've got book 1 of the Wings of the War called Child of the Daystar, and this has a dragon-looking knight with a trident-like thing. And I don't know, the cover speaks to me. Don't ask me why. Maybe I too wish to be a dragon with a sword on my back and a prong for marshmallows. Please don't come for me, Bryce O'Connor. I know it's not a prong for marshmallows. The back of this one says, among the scattered fringe cities bordering the Sinbal Desert, the true name of the monster of Karth is spoken only in whispers. Raz Uzil Aro. Probably pronounced that wrong. A spell sword of the utmost caliber, Raz is a killer of paramount skill and highest regard. Towering tall even among the Atheran, a reptilian desert people of savage intellect and violent instinct. He is the only one of his kind to live free in the civilized confines of mankind's varied cultures. He has no need of loyalties, his sole affections pledged to the gold crowns that buy his time and skills, wed to his blades. Raz's only friends are the moon and her stars and the shadow they bring with the night. But Raz was not born to the slaughter of the mercenaries' way. to the butchery and battle of day-to-day survival. Raz, like a sword, was hammered from steel and fire, and ashy smoke forged into being on the ruins of an old life. And Raz knows who he owes this new path to. This carved way of blood and iron. The monster of Karth, after all, would never forget who gave him that name. And some debts can't be paid in gold. That sounds like a really cool adventure. I really liked the monster hunting aspect of the Blood of the Spear that I read in the month of April, so I've picked up Monster Hunter book number 1 by Larry Correa? Larry Correa. I've probably butchered that pronunciation, and I'm very, very sorry. This author has quite a lot of books out, like a massive backlog. I think the Monster Hunter series has something like 7 books in it, so I'm hoping that I like it. Also, look at this cover. These covers like this just draw me in, this old sort of feel and art style. I love it, and I've just noticed that there's like little monsters down the bottom here. Shush. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that one. I think this is going to be one that I take on holiday with me in August. I'm not completely sure, but even though it looks small, it's 710 pages, so unassuming but wordy, apparently. So an author that I've been really looking forward to reading since getting back into reading fantasy is Devin Madsen. And I'm not going to lie, this pop of red on the sort of, and then the grey really drew me in. So I've picked up We Ride the Storm by Devin Madsen, which is the Reborn Empire book number 1. I know books 2 and 3 are out. I'm not completely sure if it's just a trilogy or whether it's ongoing, but I have picked up book number 1 to get into. I'm not sure when that is going to be. It may be a 2023 read for me, but I am looking forward to getting to that one sometime soon. Now, the next one I picked up was a book that I heard of on Holly Hart's Books channel, and Holly Hart's Books is basically responsible for my entire bookshelf behind me, but she was talking about the Jackson Ford series. This is urban fantasy. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It says on the cover, like Alias meets X-Men. So this is book number 1, Random Shit Flying Through the Air. I love these covers, and I love that it doesn't scream that it's fantasy of any kind, but I'm very much looking forward to getting into this series. If I enjoy it, I believe book 4 is coming out in May, so there'll be more where that one came from. Okay, we have got 3 books to go. Thank you so much for sticking with me. This was an advertisement on Instagram, and I saw it and I was like, this series is going to be a guilty pleasure. Even if it's crap, I have to own this cover. And that is Shane Silver's Devil's Dream, Shades of Devil, book number 1. I don't need to say anything else. I can't wait to read whatever this is. But I also know that there's a couple of other books, and it's going to be real shiny in that light. They've got covers just like this, except the pops of colour are like red and blue and just look fantastic. I don't even want to know. I don't want to read the back. I just want to read it and either think that it's awful or think that it's one of the best things I've ever read. I'm very big on the reading those books that are guilty pleasures or guilty pleasures. I don't know if reading should necessarily have guilty pleasures. I've said that a lot in the last little bit. But like, read what you want. If you enjoy it, just enjoy it. The last 2 books that I've picked up were definite books that were influenced by other booktubers, which I will talk about in a video coming up soon. The first one is Spirit Gate by Kate Elliott. This is book number 1 in the Crossroads series. I believe it's a trilogy. It is, yeah. It's a trilogy. So I've heard Nico from Nico's Book Reviews talk about Kate Elliott at length, and I was like, look, if he likes it that much, maybe I'll give it a go. And this was the first sort of series that caught my eye. I believe Kate Elliott writes both YA and adult fantasy. I don't read YA, well, I don't read a lot of YA. I don't really enjoy it, but I will give this one a go. It says, in a world torn apart by warfare and betrayal, a new darkness has risen. I don't know when I'm going to get to that one, but I'm intrigued enough to have picked up book number 1 in the series. The last one I picked up was an influence by the Library of Alexandria, and that is Blackwing by Ed McDonald. Ed McDonald has a new series coming out this year, a new adult fantasy, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But this was a surprisingly good read, and a lot of people were shocked at how good this series has been. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest, but I'm looking forward to jumping in. I've just bought the first one. If I like it, I'll pick up books 2 and 3 later on in the year. It says, only 3 kinds of people willingly enter the misery: the desperate, the stupid, and the greedy. The misery is a wasteland, a dangerous, corrupted frontier between the Republic and the Deep Kings. When traitors, thieves, and spies try to flee, they run for the misery. And often as not, it's Captain Riot Galharrow's job to bring them to heel beneath the fractured skies, provided they haven't already fallen prey to the twisted creatures that inhabit the shifting, polluted sands. It's a deadly place even for a man of Galharrow's experience, but it's a necessary place, because the Republic's only other defense against the Deep Kings is the Null's Empire, a weapon of incomparable power that protects the Wasteland's border. And that final defense may just have failed. I'm intrigued. I like the purple. I don't know if you can see it. The pop of purple on the cover. Again, white cover, pop of colour. That is it. That is my physical book haul for the month. Mark my words, in May we will have less books, because we're nearly at 100 subscribers, and the month that we get to 100 subscribers, I would like to do some sort of giveaway, so I'm going to save my money for then. Yeah, if you like the content, do one of these. If you want to see more of it, then click subscribe at your will, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.